VigilanteWilliamson here with a very simple question. And that is, how are the Cincinnati Bengals going to do? Skippy, Ohio. I don't know why both the Ohio teams are later than everybody else. It must be the Ohio swag. I don't know. Do people still care about that shit? I don't know. But I'm got to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, and then got to get a Cleveland Browns video out as soon as possible to wrap up my coverage of the the AFC North. And the Cincinnati Bengals, this is going to be a tough division, first off. I think the AFC West will be the toughest, but the AFC North is definitely going to be tough, and the Bengals are a big reason why. 9-8 last year. I thought they had the best quarterback in the league in Joe Burrow, and I thought he was second in MVP. To me, obviously that was not to be, because whatever reason with the Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen boner that the media has, they overshadow to me what was the best quarterback play, and then of course the best running back player. That has anything to do with this video, but you go back to my MVP video, I thought Saquon should have won. That said, I said if Saquon's not going to win it because you're QB centric, the best QB is obviously, that's not a word, fucking Joe Burrow. Are you fucking serious? What are we fucking talking about here, man? Joe Burrow had the most yardage, the most touchdowns, only 9 picks. We're talking damn near 5,000 yards on 70% completion percentage, 43 touchdowns, 9 picks. I mean, this is incredible offense. Incredible offense for what it's worth. QBR 74.7, quarterback rating, they're not the same stat, 108.5. I mean, this is incredible. This is a, generational year, and they couldn't make the playoffs. They didn't have a losing season. They played tough throughout the last stretch of the season. I remember that game against, Denver? I had family in town, and we were out, and we were at like a barcade sort of thing, and they had that game on the screen. We all just stopped and watched that game. It was a great game. They won, but unfortunately, they needed more tiebreakers to get into the playoffs. So, I mean, hell, if they win a game extra last year, and I know a lot has been made about that Patriots game. If they beat the Patriots earlier in the season, Patriots get a lower pick, and the Bengals are almost undoubtedly a playoff team. Not only are they a playoff team, they're probably an MVP having team, because I think Joe Burrow was the most valuable quarterback of the league last year. And so, what about this year? Well, not too good. So, here's the thing. This defense is not great. Now, honestly, they are technically not the worst defense in the league. That's something that's been overstated. They're the worst defense in the league. No, they're not. They are the 25th defense for yards. That sucks, but it's not the worst. And when it comes to points, they are the 25th defense as well. So they're 25th best defense. That sucks. It ain't the worst. And the only reason they're 25th is got to be Trey Hendrickson. 17.5 sacks. Not only did he lead the league in sacks, he led the league in QB hurries as well. Is it hurries? No, he was second in hurries. He led them in, I'm sorry, I'm doing this live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. What did he lead them in? Pressures. He led the league in pressures as well. So pressures and sacks, up there with QB knockdowns and hurries. He's one of the best pass rushers in the league. And this is not a good pass rushing team. He has 7, and sacks can be an overrated stat, don't get me wrong. 17.5 sacks. The team only has 36. They didn't have 20 sacks as a team. So then you draft Shabar Stewart out of Texas A&M to help give you some help on the other side, and then you can't get him signed. There's something going crazy with this fucking front office. You also don't have Trey Hendrickson signed. And you put $1 trillion, granted, best quarterback, I said, of the year last year, but you got between Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and now T. Higgins, who I think you should have let go. Thought you should just let him go to New England. That's where everyone had him going. Said Stephon Diggs goes there, the NFL young boy type, but that's neither here nor there. Thought maybe you should let him go and help rebuild the rest of this team. Help make sure you could get Trey Hendrickson signed. I know he's a little older. I think he's 30, 31. I get that. But you got to get him signed when your defense is, again, a little underrated. I mean, I thought they were the worst. They're not the worst. And that's impactful. Now, I do think we're in a league where having a great offense means less because there's so many good offenses. But the fact that they were 25th, that even extends the point I had coming into this video. Pause. They were the 30th ranked rushing offense. As great of a passing offense they were not that good of a running offense. That's another reason this team loses. They're one-dimensional. And they got a guy named Chase Brown who's in his second year. Hate to put a lot on a guy that no one talks about. He had 900 yards last year. He started to come on, pause, later in the season. You got to think, man, if he can be what he, if he can shock people, or they did draft for another running back late, I think 5th or 6th round. If they could somehow get more out of this running game, if they would have put something towards this running game, that can help solve ills. Because one, you have a good running game, you have more time possession. Have more time possession, that means your defense is on the field a lot less. And if your defense is on the field a lot less, they tend to do a little bit better. So that's something that you could have had if you had a little bit more of a running game. And running backs are a fairly cheap commodity nowadays. It's not the most expensive thing to get a running back going. So it's like, maybe if you would have put a little bit more into that, maybe, just maybe, you would have a better team this year. Like, this team, just still off the offensive talent, could win 11, 12 games. I want to pick them for 10. I really do. But I don't trust this defense. Now, maybe this defense, they drafted other players and they were able to sign other players. I think they already got their 2nd round pick signed, which that was another controversy in the NFL. Demetrius Naya, South Carolina. Shout out to South Cat. They also, this hasn't been the best offensive line. Joe Burrow was one of the most sacked quarterbacks as well. And they got a guard out of Georgia. So they're trying to do something with this offensive line and the defense and make it a little bit better. But I really think they should have maybe invested at running back. Unless they see something in Chase Brown that just hasn't come to fruition. He's going into his 3rd year. He's not a real talked about name, but he did have close to 1,000 yards. And that is impressive. And so you got to wonder, what can this team do? Again, I think they should have let T. Higgins go. I like T. Higgins. I really do. But I think you needed that money to go around to build the rest of this team. It's a one-dimensional offense, and it's a one-dimensional team. They're so dependent on Joe Burrow, which, yeah, you're dependent on your quarterback. That's just the nature of the NFL. But they're so dependent on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase's production. It's like, you need more versatility than that. Not just as a team, but even on offense. And I think they should have invested in maybe getting a piece or two to help make this offense a little bit more versatile. And definitely needed to help. Well, one, they need to sign their draft pick. There's a weird clause about his contract being more voidable, and I just removed the clause. I don't know what it is with this front office. They end up paying more. Now Trey Hendrickson is going to be worth more after this contract. I think it happened after the Steelers video, but they were able to sign TJ Watt to a huge contract, pushing the price up for edge rushers. So if you get these things done as early as possible, one of the reasons the Eagles were able to do what they did is because they got Jalen Hurts signed at an early enough time to where his $45 million, which is still a lot for normal humans, not that much compared to top 10 quarterbacks. It's pretty good for the price. And so when you can do that, then you can build out the rest of your team. You can get all the free agents that you need. And that's not what Cincinnati's done. I think the front office is the biggest issue. And the fact that they're not the worst defense, they're not great. They're a better running defense than they are offense. They're still 19. Not great. But that shows there's some potential. Maybe if they get a better time possession, maybe they do a little bit better. Maybe. Just maybe. Does it have time possession here? I'm sorry. I'm on Pro Football Reference. That's what I do with all these videos. I look up a few things, have the reference up there in case there's something I need to look at. I don't see that they have it in this little quick thing. If they can win a time possession game, they make that defense a lot better because they're not on the field as much. If they can protect Joe Burrow just a little bit better. If was a fifth, I didn't do a TLDR because I don't know. I don't fucking know. It's hard for me to say they're going to go 8 and 9, right? Because they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It's hard for me to say because they can win 12 games and win this division. This division is going to be tough. I can't help but to say 10, right? Like my brain says, how do they not get 10? Now, what if they don't re-sign Trey? or Shamar, and he goes into the draft next year or does some other crazy shit. What if that happens? I mean, maybe they do win 7, but it's like, how do you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and not win 10 games? How do you have Joe Burrow and not win 10 games? How? Are they going to do that again? No way, right? They were close to not doing it last time. There's no way, right? I'm going to go with 10. They got to win 10 games, man. If this team doesn't win 10 games, I don't know. Unless Burrow gets hurt. Now, if he gets hurt and they don't win 10 games, cool. But if Burrow is healthy, how the fuck doesn't this team win 10 games? Someone explain that to me. With all the shit I said, they still have the best passing offense in the league. This is still a quarterback-friendly league. Yes, every team has spotted a fucking wide receiver. Hell, even the Browns have Jerry Jeudy. You know what I mean? Everybody gets a great wide receiver in this league. The fucking Colts, who I covered last week, had 3 wide receivers get 800 yards, one of the worst accurate quarterbacks in the league. Like, everybody has good wide receivers now. So everybody puts up offenses, what negates how effective this offense is, because you got so many offenses right next to it. So many teams that can win a shootout. But even with that, they're still so good. He's too good. How the fuck is one of the best quarterbacks? I guess we had the Aaron Rodgers years where they would go like 6-10 and he had good numbers. I mean, maybe that could happen to Joe Burrow. But I gotta go with 10 wins. I have to go with 10 wins. They gotta win 10 games, man. I don't know. You tell me. I'm so kerfuffled. You've been watching these highlights? How do they not win 10 games?